too long, Africa's gold built empires that weren't its own. But now, a new generation is taking back the pen that writes history. Traoré's fight isn't just Burkina Faso's. It's every African's fight for truth. The map of stolen gold is no longer a secret. It's a warning to the world. Africa remembers. If you stand with justice, share this story. Subscribe now, and let's keep exposing the untold truths of power, greed, and freedom. Ibrahim Traoré, the young and bold leader of Burkina Faso, has ignited a storm across Africa. He claims that the continent's greatest hidden wealth, its gold, has been systematically stolen for centuries. And now he's demanding something no African leader has ever dared to say out loud: reparations. According to Traoré, a secret map exists, a document that exposes how Africa's mineral riches were mapped, extracted, and exported in silence, while its people were left in poverty. This gold map, as he calls it, allegedly reveals where the continent's resources lie, who profited from them, and how the wealth was quietly drained from African soil. This revelation has shaken the foundations of Western economic influence in Africa. It's no longer just about gold. It's about ownership, justice, and the right to reclaim what was stolen. When Traoré took power in Burkina Faso in 2022, he was just 34 years old, the youngest leader in the world at the time. But he didn't rise to power to rule like others before him. He came with a mission: to restore dignity and control over the nation's natural wealth. In his speeches, Traoré speaks of one clear message: Africa's gold belongs to Africans. He accuses foreign corporations and their local allies of exploiting Burkina Faso's mines for decades, while the people saw little benefit. His government began reviewing old mining contracts, suspending some licenses, and even nationalizing key gold mines. But the real turning point came when Traoré publicly mentioned the existence of a map that allegedly detailed the secret routes, hidden contracts, and undeclared reserves of gold buried across Africa. He didn't just call for transparency. He called for retribution. Africa's connection with gold is ancient. From the Great Mali Empire to the kingdoms of Ghana and Songhai, gold was once a symbol of Africa's power and prosperity. But when colonial powers arrived, that gold became a curse. European empires didn't just conquer lands, they built entire systems of extraction. They mined Africa's soil, enslaved its people, and exported its wealth to build their own civilizations. In West Africa alone, millions of tons of raw minerals, gold, schist, bauxite, uranium, were shipped to Europe during the colonial era. In return, African nations received almost nothing: no infrastructure, no education, and no share in the profits. Even after independence, the system never truly ended. Under the guise of development partnerships and investment deals, Africa's resources continued to flow outward, this time through modern corporations, banks, and intermediaries. The result? A continent sitting on trillions of dollars worth of gold, yet still debt, according to reports and statements attributed to Traoré. This mysterious map contains shocking details. It allegedly outlines mineral-rich zones across West Africa, hidden gold deposits, and even secret tunnels of smuggling and export routes. Information known to foreign governments and private companies, but not to the African states themselves. One leaked account described a meeting where foreign diplomats were caught with cash, gold samples, weapons, and detailed geological maps of Burkina Faso's gold reserves. Traoré later claimed that these maps were part of a larger network, a classified archive mapping Africa's wealth for exploitation. Whether this map is physical or symbolic, the meaning is clear. Africa's wealth has long been documented, targeted, and taken, but never truly owned by its people. And that's why Traoré's revelation has become more than an allegation. It's a statement of defiance. "We are no longer blind," he said. "We know where our gold is, know who took it." 5. What reparations mean for Africa? The word reparations carries the weight of history. It means compensation for past injustice, a moral and financial recognition that something was taken and it must be returned. For Traoré, reparations aren't about money alone. They're about economic sovereignty, the right of African nations to control their resources, set fair contracts, and stop being exploited. He has called for full audits of all foreign mining contracts, cancellation of unfair licenses granted during previous regimes, renegotiation of profit-sharing agreements with international companies, national ownership of gold processing and export systems. This is not just a political move. It's a revolutionary shift in how Africa views its own value. If successful, it could inspire a new era of Pan-African unity, where nations stand together to reclaim what's rightfully theirs. Lessons from the Sahel, the fight for resource control. The Sahel region, stretching across Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, sits on one of the world's richest gold belts. Yet, paradoxically, it's also one of the poorest regions on Earth. In Mali, a 2023 audit revealed that the government lost up to 600 billion CFA francs in unpaid royalties and underreported gold exports. In response, Mali passed a new mining law increasing state participation, removing tax exemptions, and giving the government power to review foreign deals. Inspired by this, Traoré's Burkina Faso has taken a similar path, nationalizing several mines, canceling shady contracts, and forcing companies to disclose their full earnings. Across the region, a quiet revolution is underway, a movement of nations tired of being suppliers of raw material, now determined to become owners of their destiny. The legal, economic, and moral dimensions Traoré's demand for reparations isn't just a political gesture. It's a test of global justice. Legally, it challenges international companies and colonial-era agreements that still shape Africa's economies. Economically, it questions why countries with immense natural wealth remain in debt to the very powers that extracted it. Morally, it forces the world to confront a truth long ignored. Africa built much of the modern world's wealth, but never shared in it. If the secret map can trace even a fraction of the resources that left African soil unjustly, it could become a basis for international claims, perhaps even lawsuits or restitution demands against former colonial powers. But more than that, it symbolizes awakening. It says to the world, we know what you took, and we're ready to take it back through law, unity, and strength. A new African era, from silence to sovereignty. Whether the map is real or metaphorical, its message is undeniable. Africa's stolen wealth has been found, not in vaults or ships, but in truth itself. For generations, Africans were told to wait for aid, depend on trade deals, or seek partnerships. Now, a new voice says otherwise. We don't need aid. We need what was ours. Under Traoré, Burkina Faso and its neighbors are not begging. They're reclaiming. They're demanding fairness, accountability, and respect. And in doing so, they're inspiring millions across the continent. Young people who see in Traoré not just a soldier, but a symbol of African rebirth. The global shockwave. The West has responded with unease. Global gold traders, banks, and mining conglomerates are watching closely as African governments tighten control over their natural resources. If this reparation movement spreads, it could redefine how global markets function. Imagine if dozens of African nations renegotiated their mining contracts at once, demanding 50% state ownership or full processing rights. It would disrupt entire supply chains, shift prices, and challenge global power structures built on cheap African labor and raw material. That's the world Traoré envisions, one where Africa no longer bleeds gold in silence. The message that echoes beyond borders. This is bigger than one man, one country, or one map. It's a message that every exploited nation, from Latin America to Asia, can resonate with. We know our worth. We know what was taken, and we're no longer afraid to demand it back. Traoré's campaign may face resistance, propaganda, threats, but his movement has already done something powerful. It has forced the world to remember that Africa is not poor. It's been made poor through theft, silence, and deceit. Now, the silence is broken. Closing narration, the call to history. If gold could speak, Traoré once said, it would tell the story of our tears. The secret map, whether real or symbolic, is not just a piece of paper. It's a mirror, showing Africa what it lost and what it can still become. The road ahead will be long. There will be sanctions, pressure, and political games. But history has shifted. Africa is awake. And when a continent once called the land of the plundered decides to rise, the world must listen.